today our guest in the first position is the Jackson Transportation Service Center Manager for MDOT, Kelby Wallace. Kelby, welcome back.
Thanks. Good to be here, Bart.
Good to see you. It's already construction season. Here it is, early March. Not typically time when you've got crews out.
Absolutely. It's been a very mild winter, as most have experienced, and it's allowed some of our projects to make really good progress where normally we might not start thinking starting for another couple weeks, and we started a couple weeks ago. You know, we had that real cold stretch in January that wasn't really good for doing anything, but ever since then it's been above normal and not really below freezing for very long, maybe just at night. So that there hasn't really been much frost in the ground, if any, and so that's allowed a couple of our projects to get started early.
Does that change the schedule in any major way for all the things you have planned this year?
It kind of gets us off on the right foot. You know, I think we don't always try not to get too optimistic and start saying things will get done early. Because of a lot of our projects, you start digging underground, and maybe there's an unknown utility that is in the way, and we have to wait until that gets moved before we can pour a foundation. Or, you know, we'll see how April treats us with rain in May. You know, because a lot of the work that we do, really, we can't pour concrete in the rain, we can't place asphalt in the rain. So sometimes, if we get really rainy stretches, that kind of sets us back. So I would say we're tracking ahead of schedule, you know, but, you know, until we get to the fall, we just don't know how the rest of the season's going to treat us.
Yeah, and winter officially not over yet, but Michigan, anything can happen.
I always tell my son and wife it always snows in April. Maybe it's just a soft dusting overnight, but sometimes we get a couple wet inches of snow that melt the next day, kind of like we did the last weekend, you know, this last weekend. But it always snows in April, but hopefully it's not a big one.
All right, so we've got 94, the big project here in Jackson County, which is the west portion of the project from M60 to Calhoun, right?
Correct, yep.
And right now you're doing some work that is, I guess, work you don't really think of, because it's out of sight, underground. It actually is you're digging under the highway right now.
Yeah, so we had a creek that we needed to replace underneath I-94, and there's a great picture you can see right in the middle of the screen. We've got that tube sticking out, and that's where we're basically digging and pushing this pipe under the road and not impacting traffic. If we were to do this by conventionally digging the road up, it would probably have taken I-94 down to a single lane for 2 to 3 months, which causes, you know, delays and crashes. So right there, we've got a very, very sophisticated method of putting that pipe in. It's being done by some great local contractors, Low Construction, out of the area here. Hoffman Brothers out of Battle Creek, that are our contractors out there. So they're working on that. A very sophisticated type of tunneling machine that digs. It's a 9-foot diameter pipe. The pipe is made of concrete, so it ends up carrying the load of the traffic and dirt above it, and there's kind of the picture of that pipe when it's been installed. This is from way inside the tunnel, right in the middle of I-94 is where they were at when we took this picture. So they push that pipe all the way through to the other side, and then they'll reroute the creek through that new pipe, and then that old pipe will end up filling with a very flowable concrete so that the old pipe never collapses, and we never really had to disrupt traffic except for a couple little minor things out there. So an expensive operation, but, you know, sometimes it's well worth not having impacting traffic for a significant amount of time, which has you know, a price to it there too.
Seeing those pictures reminds me of an episode of Engineering Catastrophes I saw over the weekend. They were digging a hole in Portland, and the digging thing got stuck underground under the. And then the other one in the desert, they had a 1,000-year flood, rainfall, and knocked out a bridge because they had built, you know, a dry creek, but the water decided it didn't want to go that way. Water, you can't tell water what to do. So before this, where was the water going?
It was going through, there's a 60-inch pipe that goes
Uh-huh.
under 94, but it was built when the freeway was built, so it's probably a 60 to 70-year-old pipe. They don't last forever, and so this project really made sense to go ahead, and now we're putting new pavement up top. We don't want, our new pavement to collapse because this old pipe collapsed.
Yeah.
So we installed that. Yeah, there was some risk with this one, but if you have a contractor that kind of does the right investigation and takes their time, is experienced, they can minimize some of those risks, but you're never fully rid of those risks.
So before the project, 5 years ago, that stretch of 94 was known for pooling water during heavy rainfall. Is this the kind of thing that needs to be done so that doesn't happen again?
Yeah, so a lot of that stuff that you're maybe thinking of is more of the surface drainage, right, that's up top, and we are replacing drainage for the entire stretch from M60 to Michigan Avenue. We're putting in that new concrete barrier wall that separates traffic from a safety perspective, but we're also running new pipe the entire length of that new concrete wall that has inlets near that concrete barrier wall, and it takes the water out away from 94 so we don't have that pooling in the future. So over the years, the pavement settles, and that's where kind of the water tends to stand and causes we call them bird baths and stuff like that.
So that tunnel that's going to carry a creek, there's many of those all throughout the...
Correct. So there's a lot of them. That is the biggest one out there. Like I said, that was a 9-foot diameter. Sometimes they're 24 inches, 2-foot diameter, 18 inches, 3 foot. They're a little bit smaller. So sometimes we've done a similar treatment to some of those and replaced them with that kind of method, but nothing on the scope of what we saw in the pictures, just because of the sheer diameter of that pipe.
It's huge.
But
You
there's
have
a
the
lot.
kayak. Can we kayak through it now?
I think we're a little while before we get the water back in that new
Okay.
pipe, because we're kind of still in the process of even removing all the pieces and parts that help us build it. But eventually you could. I mean, it's like that last picture if you've seen Indiana Jones, the little mine cars. I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of what they do. They run a mine car up to the end of the pipe, and they put the dirt in it that they're excavating out. There's your track, and then they run the little mine car back out to the daylight, dump the mine cart, and send it back down the tube to collect more dirt. And that's once they collect dirt, they push more pipe through, and they push till you come out the other side.
Amazing.
It is.
All right, so then up on the top, the reconstruction of 94, we've got major work that I think is going to close a couple of entrance and exit intersections on the highway.
Yep. So with this great weather, our contractor has been moving some of our temporary barrier wall that we used to separate traffic during the project and protect our workers with that. So that's almost finished. And then we'll start our traffic shifts to move traffic off that eastbound roadway. We're going to have on eastbound 94, we'll have lane closures Monday morning till Friday morning, like we did last year. And then we'll have ramp closures, short-term ones at Michigan Avenue and at Parma. But then the big one that we really want everybody to hear about is the Deering Road interchange. Those ramp closures and the bridge over 94 closure is going to be happening. The whole thing is going to be closed around Memorial Day weekend to Labor Day weekend. And so that's the real big impact of the project this year for some of the locals that live in that area.
Yeah, and you're timing it so school's out, and obviously the Western High School and Mackey, two big entities impacted by this.
Yes, and even though, I'm a Columbia fan and our girls won last night and Western didn't, we still try to accommodate the Western school traffic. So yes, that's kind of how we worked with the Mackey and the schools, because we know what a huge traffic impact school can have on our road network.
Yeah, but When it's done, it's going to be awesome because it's going to be both roundabouts on both sides, right?
Correct. It's going to be kind of a mirror image of the Michigan Avenue interchange, just to the west of there. You know, that really helps traffic flow through there, corrects that sight distance issue you have at that when you come off the exit ramps, looking over the bridge. You can't see over that bridge very well currently, so these roundabouts are really going to improve that.
Yeah, I think that'll be welcome improvement for everyone that uses that exit. City work, you're doing some things on, I think, MLK and Cooper?
Correct, yep. So right now, the active work that's going on as we speak, the traffic signal upgrades on Cooper, we're doing that at Ganson, at Parnell, and a couple of other intersections with Cooper in the city. We'll be doing a kind of a maintenance resurfacing of MLK. That's going to be from Cooper down to about Louis Glick. That's got to wait till it gets a little bit warmer out, so that'll probably be starting in the next month or two. Be a shorter project. It'd take, a month and a half. We'll do the sidewalk ramps and we'll do the pavement as all. So that's a pretty quick one. Another project that will have a detour associated with it. We got some bridge work on South Cooper, down by Morell and High. We're going to be detouring one direction at a time. That's the bridge that goes up over the old abandoned railroad down there near Omnisource. And so we'll end up detouring at one time southbound using city streets, and then we'll do the work on southbound, and then once that's done, the contractor switch over, we'll detour northbound, and they'll do the work on the northbound bridge.
Now the bridge, the bridge, does it have a curve to it?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yep, some of our bridges have a little bit of a curve to it.
Will it be still like that?
Yeah, it's not a bridge replacement. We actually are kind of going there and we do structural repairs. We kind of, if we have a spot that's experiencing any kind of rusting or what we call section loss, we basically put a steel repair on it. We have joints that we need to be waterproofed, so we replace those joints so they're watertight again. And then we might do surface treatments that we put a epoxy on that surface to make it ride better and keep the water off those beams.
127 and 94, the diverging diamond intersection. It looks like it's all done except maybe some landscaping.
Yeah, so our project in Jackson on I-94, we have a lot of trees to plant with that project, and within the next 2 months, those will be put down in the various areas. Some near the diverging diamond interchange, some near the Elm Road interchange, and we've got a lot of what we call punch list items, loose ends. We need catch basins cleaned out. We need some grass seed in some areas to make sure things grow back and take care of everything. So
it'll be nice when it's done.
Absolutely.
Great to have you here. Thanks for all the updates.
Well, thanks for having me.
Kelby Wallace, Jackson TSC Manager for Michigan Department of Transportation. Next,